got Sanghwa and Stoneblade. All flavors of Stoneblade this player loves. Mostly start the deck list out with 4 True Name Nemesis, 4 Brainstorm, and go from there. He has completely discarded his Underground Sea and Bayou and etc. Because he is just cut black completely and is on Tundra for life. Looks like I go for a mulligan here. It's always you can expect exactly what Song was going to be playing, so I'm not too concerned about it. I know the kind of hand that I'll probably need. It doesn't have to be very fast because his plan is almost always just hold up, Spell Pierce, Daze, Force, and put a True Name on the table. That's really what he's going for, and that plan is basically just too slow versus a decent hand from Turbo Depths. So I'm going to mull to 6. So we scried something to the top on the draw. Urborg Go is a pretty weak start, but it could be a decent hand, and he's showing a sign of weakness already by just main phasing a Brainstorm. It could be fine. I mean, you do what you gotta do. Let's see if we have the Dark Depths Hex Mage. That makes the hand basically keepable, but you can't really expect this to resolve. That's a pretty tall order. Is that a Daze in hand or a Ponder? It can't be a Daze, right? Because he's reaching for... Yeah, alright. So he exiles Ponder, and the Hex Mage is countered. Turbo Depths has no way to make that spell uncounterable. And turn 3, True Name is about as fast as he can put anything together. And if our hand, yeah, if we've got Thespian Stage, then basically now the only thing that he's got left is Swords to Plowshares. And Swords versus Merit Lage is an interesting thing because he slams GT on the table. And he's got a choice now. He could like leave up white for Swords, or he could equip GT and get above 20. Since he opts not to do that, I know he's just holding up Swords to Plowshares. So activate the triggered ability on Thespian Stage and sacrifice it. Make a Merit Lage. He will sword it, and at this point, we'll just go get Sajiri's Step. Otherwise, there's no reason to have made this play. We know that there wasn't a Daze because he didn't Daze the Hex Mage. So we'll just blank this. And the only way he could beat this is a second Swords to Plowshares. Otherwise, we just win the game. So it's worth just pulling the trigger there. Go for an easy peasy game 1 and go to the sideboard. Versus most Tundra decks, my plan is bringing in 2 to 3 Rite of Consumption to beat Swords, Karakas, and Sorcery Speed removal. And then, or sorry, instant speed removal on your turn, and then bring in a Beseiju to make all of your Rites and Sylvan Scryings and things uncounterable, and then just try to race them a little bit. We also have to make sure that we don't get got by some random permanent, so Abrupt Decay comes in all these matchups. And here we've got a very shameful Overgrown Tomb. And the Thoughtseize will get Spell Pierced. So Sanghwa has actually brought in Blood Moons, which are quite good. I don't disagree. His hand is some lands, a Blood Moon, a Sword, and a Daze. So if this Blood Moon lands, we're really going to lean on that Daze is going to get eaten up by a Spirit Guide. The Blood Moon is going to require an Abrupt Decay and possibly Krosan Grip, which we definitely play occasionally. I tend to play it because I like the split second effect on it. He has found Basic Mountain off of that Ponder. So it looks to me like he's going to keep it, even though the rest of it is, like, pretty weak. It's a very medium Ponder. The other concern is that I think that he really needs Basic Plains. And maybe he needs to keep this Ponder because the Basic Plains... Or because the Flooded Strand... Yeah, alright, so he found Mountain. So the Flooded Strand actually has to get Basic Plains. And I think that he's got a pretty good plan there. Still no Clock, though, which is pretty important. And we'll play around or play around Spell Pierce again by keeping 2 mana up. And then Thought Seizing and seeing Surgical Blood Moon Sword. And here we have to decide if we can even beat... If we can play around Blood Moon, then we have to take Sword. But then again, the deck is also just like a pile of counterspells and Snapcasters and things. So the frustrating thing about taking a blue-white base deck and taking its swords out of its hand is... within the next couple turns, if you don't kill them, that Flooded Strand is, or that Pithing Needle is for a Flooded Strand, absolutely, and that's backbreaking. If you take the swords, then within 2 turns or whatever, but he found Basic Plains. So now I expect him to slam Blood Moon, and we're gonna have to like wait a long time and fight through that. But he does not cast it, which means that a Dark Depths is just lights out because he can't do anything about that now. That's... Yeah, he's just dead. That's pretty brutal. Because he knew from the... He knew that he just needed to search deeper for swords to plowshares, I guess. And he expected Krosan Grip.